Hey everyone, my name's Jack, and today I'm going to talk about my experience spending 7 days at an Osho meditation retreat in Bali. So first of all, I got to the retreat. This is about a month ago now, and the place is beautiful. It's about 40 minutes outside of Ubud, jungle, rainforest type sort of area. Very quiet, very peaceful and serene. There's a river at the place where you stay. You can go on a short walk and there's a river right there which you can hear from your room. There's a pool. All your meals are provided for you, breakfast, lunch and dinner. It is a vegetarian menu. You can order things off the menu that, with chicken and stuff like that, but for the Osho retreat it is a set menu of vegetarian dishes, which was new for me because I am not a vegetarian at all. So yeah, that was an adjustment. But overall, yeah, the actual location and vibe of the place is really good. The buildings are quite old, but they have a certain charm to them, and yeah, we really liked it. Now, the actual meditation retreat itself. So we stayed for 7 days, and it is based on the teachings of Osho. Now, if you don't know who Osho is, he was a spiritual teacher, figure, guru from the 1970s, I believe. He came from India, went to America eventually, and set up a ranch in America where a lot of Americans and Westerners were going to learn these different methods and meditation techniques to break out of their conditioning. So my kind of take on Osho, his teaching, is he was interested in bringing meditation to the Western person. But for most Western people, we can't just go and do a meditation retreat where we just sit in stillness and meditate and it works. Most of us have a lifetime of repression, conditioning from the media and our society, and just all kinds of nonsense in our head. It's so that, if we just go and meditate, we end up sitting there trying to force stillness or force this, no mind sort of thing, which he sort of saw as a problem, because if you're spending the whole time that you're supposed to be meditating just repressing emotions or trying to be calm and still and that sort of thing, rather than letting it arise naturally, it's too much effort, right? It's too forceful. So his whole idea is that, okay, so we need to get this conditioning, these layers of conditioning, and break them down to get to what's real. Because a lot of conditioning is just bullshit, right? So his whole thing was, we will construct these different techniques and meditation methods in order to break through these layers of conditioning until we reach the soul, the Buddha nature, your true nature, whatever you want to call it. And so that is my take on it. Like, his whole thing was about getting people out of their unconsciousness, out of their conditioning, so that they can live from an authentic place of who they truly are in themselves, which is going to be different for everyone. Like, everyone has their own path. And it seems like Osho was about getting people to embody their own path and their own sense of spirituality or essence. So how does he do that? Well, he had I think it's 112, it's either 76 or 112 different meditation techniques. There's a book literally just called Meditation by Osho that covers all of them, which I read before I went, which I'd highly recommend if you are going to do a retreat here or elsewhere with the Osho methods. Now, the way that the protocol works at the Bali retreat is they do 4 sessions a day. Each meditation session goes for about an hour, and it's sort of, morning, lunchtime, afternoon, and then night. The morning and the afternoon meditations are the same each day. So you do a dynamic or active meditation in the morning, which is kind of the flagship meditation for Osho. And then in the afternoon, you do the Kundalini meditation. That doesn't change. The lunchtime and the night meditation changes each day to whatever the teacher decides to do that day, or whatever the schedule is. Now, most people have heard about the dynamic or active meditation. That is the one that, most people know about. And that's what you start with in the morning. And this meditation is intense. So as I said, we were there for a week. We did, I think we might have missed maybe 2 mornings, but we did most meditations in the morning. And yeah, it starts off with 15 minutes of chaotic, irregular breathing through your nose. So kind of like breath of fire, which is, but there's no rhythm to it. It's just, you're trying to essentially confuse or de-pattern your nervous system so that you're just basically in chaos, right? Which, depending on who you ask, is a good thing or a bad thing. But for this case, that's what you do, right? After that 15 minutes, your nervous system is quite activated and charged up. You then go into what's called the catharsis section, which goes for about 15 minutes. This is where you can yell, scream at the top of your lungs, sing, cry, dance, jump, whatever wants to come up out of your body, like whatever energy or noise you want to make, you can do it. And it's quite an interesting experience being in a group where everyone's just going nuts. Yeah, like it's wild. It is wild, yeah. So you're doing that, and that goes for 15 minutes. I should also mention the whole time there is music that plays the whole time through, like pretty loud music through a sound system that is specifically designed for each meditation that kind of guides the whole thing, right? And that really helps the flow of the meditations and to help you get into the energy of it more. After the catharsis section, you have I call it the who. You put your arms above your head straight up, and you are basically jumping up and down on the spot and letting your heels or the flats of your feet hit the ground, and that shockwave kind of goes up through your body. The idea being that it's hitting all your lower chakras and the energy there, and you let out the sound who, like a animal or caveman or whatever. It's very primal, very animalistic, and yeah, when you get into it, you feel like an animal, which I think is kind of the point. Like you're trying to get out of your intellectual mind and into your body and into this kind of animal beast sort of nature, where you're not thinking and analyzing everything, you're just acting from instinct. It's also really hard. Like by the end of this, I was dripping in sweat and just like, it's a workout, right? So you do that, and then at the end of that 15 minutes, the music suddenly stops and you just freeze wherever you are, and you're then in stillness for 15 minutes where you are just basically being the witness, witnessing your thoughts, your sensations, whatever's going on. You're the witness. Someone's here. But okay, so where was I? Yeah, after you do the who, you then have the silent part of the meditation where you're just basically being the witness. Now, after this period of time, you then go into, the music changes and you go into kind of a flowing sort of dance, which doesn't have to be flowing, but any kind of dance. It's a celebration of life, of the release, welcoming in the new day, right? Now, this goes 15 minutes and then, you're done. And you usually feel pretty light, like you've had a good workout, and you feel like you've lived a full day, even though it's 8 o'clock in the morning. And you go outside, see the sun, all that good stuff, yeah? So this is kind of the main practice, I think, is the active meditation. It takes it out of you. So many days I would do this, have breakfast, and then go back and have a nap. So some of the other meditations that we would do each day were things like the chakra sound meditation, which is where you vocalize a certain sound, certain frequency that matches the music, and it moves up through your chakras, and then you go up and then you come back down. You do it 3 times over an hour. So it's like constantly, vocalizing. I really like this one. Maybe because I'm a musician, just the frequencies and sound meditations and humming, anything in my body where I'm making sound always feels really good to me and very embodied. So I quite liked that one. There was another one similar called, it was basically like a humming meditation. You sit down and you hum for 35 minutes, kind of like, doing the Om chant, but just internally, like with your mouth shut. This is very activating for your vagus nerve. So quite good for your nervous system to switch you out of fight, flight, freeze into a more parasympathetic type state, right? I think I got that right. Parasympathetic. I think it's that one. Yeah. But basically, yeah, it activates your vagus nerve. I found this to be quite relaxing, quite a good one. And then you do some kind of slow Tai Chi type movements at the end of it to help you embody some of that feeling a bit more, I suppose. You might be listening to this thinking, this guy is cooked. What is he talking about? Hey, this is just the experience, right? This is what I experienced. Whether you believe it or not, I don't know whether I believe it or not. I don't really have any thoughts about it. A lot of this stuff and these ideas of chakras and all this mystical stuff, but you go there, you do the meditations and something happens. So, you know, if you don't believe me, go try it and you'll see for yourself that, hey, like it does something. What that is, I don't know. Another meditation we did was called the Chakra Breathing Meditation. And this one was super intense for me. You basically going up the chakras, breathing quite heavily or like strongly, and using corresponding kind of hand movements for each chakra to help you focus on that layer of your body. And you go up and down 3 times. It's basically like holotropic breath work, but you're standing up. And this one was so intense for me. The first time I did it, a lot of stuff came up, a lot of grief and sadness. And I just thought, wow, like this is intense. Then we did it again later on in the week and I kind of knew what to expect. So I could sort of lean into it a bit more, go a bit harder maybe. And it just, wow, like there was tears, there was just a lot of emotional release, a lot of grief and loss and sadness was released. And I felt like there was electricity shooting through my body, through my arms and hands, in a way that I'd never felt before. Even on things like LSD and stuff like that, I've never experienced these kind of feelings before. It was very, very intense and a very mystical experience. I felt like I connected with something bigger than myself, and it was very comforting and very reassuring. And I could just feel this energy just charging through my body and shooting out the top of my head or coming in, or I don't know what was going on, but it was super intense. And yeah, I don't know what it means or what was actually going on, but it was a positive experience overall, right? So that was like probably the most intense experience I had the whole retreat, was that one chakra breathing meditation. The other meditations that you do, there's one called Gibberish Meditation where you're basically just talking nonsense. It sounds like speaking in tongues, basically. You're just talking absolute gibberish for, I think it's 15, 20 minutes. And then you have a 10-minute silent meditation after that. I really liked this one a lot because you can be a bit silly with it. You can have fun with it. And it's a good purge of all the shit in your mind and just different energies and blockages and things like that. You kind of just get it all out. It really loosens up all your speaking apparatus and your mouth and your tongue and everything. So I really like that one a lot. Probably my favorite one, actually. And if there was any meditation I would continue to do now, it would probably be that one. What else? I think that was most. Oh, there was one meditation where there was like a flashing light. We did this one at night, and there was a flashing light at the front of the room, like a purple light, and you just stare at it for, I don't know, like half an hour or 45 minutes or something in this dark room with this like weird music playing. And you think, there's so many times I thought like, what the fuck am I doing? But I thought, I'm here. I'll just go with it. And I don't know what it was, something about it. It had an effect. It did something, because you're looking at this light, you're fixated on it for so long, and then you stop and it's just, you're just sitting there. You just basically go into a stillness meditation, and I don't know, something happened. I was getting all these, like, I guess you call it like a trance state or something. I don't know. It was trippy. And other people who I spoke to about it had really strong experiences from this one as well. So like, you never know, like some of this stuff seems so wild, but it does something, like, and it's undeniable that it's like, it has a very interesting effect on your nervous system and your mind and your body. Okay, so that's most of the kind of, there was a Vipassana meditation that we did as well once or twice, which is pretty standard. Like, Vipassana is pretty much the same wherever you go. The other meditation that we did every day in the afternoon was the Kundalini meditation. Now, the Kundalini meditation was very consistent for me in terms of the effect that it had. And I don't think we missed one of the Kundalini ones. I think we did every single one. And you start off for 15 minutes and you sort of vibrate or shake. Now you're standing up. You kind of, it's sort of pulsing up and down, mainly through your knees and your hips in your lower body, like quite fast. It's kind of like a quiver. And this kind of loosens up all the energy in your body and just gets things flowing, gets the energy sort of moving. Then you go into 15 minutes of a kind of flowing dance or just movement, really. And for some reason, I was getting into some kind of a trance state pretty much every time we did this. And it felt like my body was moving on its own. My spine and my neck and things were just unwinding and cracking and just releasing in all these different ways, which felt really, really good. And then you go into like a seated meditation and eventually you lie down, kind of like Shavasana at the end of yoga. And then that's, the full hour. The Kundalini was great. Yeah, I was getting some trance kind of hypnagogic type experiences pretty much every time while standing. So I wasn't lying down falling asleep. Like I was standing up moving, but kind of like feeling like I was dreaming with my eyes closed, right? Super trippy. All right, so that's basically the meditations. Now, the teacher that we had was a guy called Prem. He was a really cool guy, really warm, friendly, very engaging, always happy to, because I'm the kind of guy that asks a million questions, and he was always very generous with his time. He knew the Osho meditations back to front. He practiced them with us. He was just exactly, I can't fault him, right? He did everything great, super cool guy. And just set a good environment for the whole process. So that's kind of the gist of the experience. Now, my actual thoughts on reflection now, I do think that it is a bit of a crash course in, like, a lot of stuff comes up, right? So like if you don't have capacity in your nervous system to handle flooding of trauma or past experiences, or you got a lot of stuff that's repressed that you've never looked at, that you've always blocked and haven't felt, there's a good chance that this is going to bring it up. And if you don't have the tools or the capacity to process it or integrate it or sit with it, it could get a little bit sketchy, right? And potentially maybe even unsafe for some people, because it's really intense. And I've been meditating for a long time. I've done a lot of different, therapy and different modalities to try and work on myself and work on my nervous system. I've done a lot of somatic experiencing and IFS and cognitive behavioral therapy and blah, 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 like all these different things for years and years and years. So I feel like I have a pretty good idea of my shadow side or my repressed stuff or like my shit, right? But if you are going into this blind and you've never really done any of that, never really sat with yourself for a long period of time and really tried to be like, why do I feel this way or blah, blah, like, do you know what I mean? So like your mileage may vary. Like if you don't have the capacity for it, it could potentially be traumatic or even re-traumatizing. But that said, I think for the majority of people, they will get something out of it. You just really need to listen to your own nervous system, listen to your own intuition and body, and know like, hey, like I need to sit this one out, or like, yeah, I've done enough now. Something I did that was really helpful was I journaled after every single meditation, just to reflect and help integrate the experiences, because doing four of these sessions a day, 4 hours a day, it's cumulative. So like everything starts to stack up and snowball, right? So if you're not integrating and processing each one, then yeah, it gets heavy pretty quick. Would I recommend it? Yeah, as I said, if you got the capacity and if you're interested in it and you feel called to do it, then go for it. It felt much safer to me than doing psychedelics or any of that kind of plant medicine type stuff. Osho Bali was a great place to do it as well. Great atmosphere, great sort of team of people there. It was great. Moving forward, would I do it again? I don't know. I don't feel particularly called to doing it again. I will continue to probably occasionally do the Gibberish meditation and possibly maybe the chakra breathing meditation every now and then if I feel like it. But for the most part, what the experience showed me was, particularly from the Kundalini meditations, that there is real power in tremoring and shaking. And so I've been looking much more into trauma release exercises, or TRE by Dr. David Baselli. And that is something I looked into years ago and then kind of fell off with it. So I've been doing that again with pretty amazing results. So that has been the main takeaway for me, is that it really cleared enough stuff so I could see like, hey, like this tremoring stuff, like there's something to this. It somehow moves the energy in your body and brings more life force back into the body, rather than being disassociated, frozen, disconnected from everything and from your emotions. So that's kind of the path I'm on at the moment. But yeah, like if you feel called to do it, go and do it. Check it out. I would recommend reading the book Meditation by Osho if you can get your hands on it. Watch the YouTube videos. There's a bunch of YouTube videos going over the active meditations and Kundalini meditations by, I don't know what his name is. He's like this old guy with white hair and a very British accent. They're really informative. Watch Wild Wild Country if you want to get a different perspective on who Osho is. But yeah, as I said, like, I'm not a follower of Osho, but I like anything. Like there's things he said and taught that I really like, and there's things that don't resonate. So, you take what's useful and you leave the rest. So that's all I got for you for today. This went way longer than I expected, but there you go. That's a deep dive into my experience spending 7 days at an Osho retreat in Bali. I'll see you next time.